So I was reading a book about emotional intelligence on happiness. It's by Harvard Business Review. And before I get into what I was trying to discuss, I think sometimes it's so funny when you read about things that are like we should know. It's so obvious what makes people happy, right? So we create these barriers in our mind that we can't read about it. We can't research and we can't gain knowledge about things that are very normal, or you know what makes you happy. Why should you read it, right? But anyway, there's a really good passage on here, that a really good idea that I wanted to discuss, and it's frequency versus intensity. And the angle was, it's more sustainable and it's better for you when you create habits, right, that are frequent, that make you happy, than doing intense activities or having intense experiences that make you intensely happy. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'll try. So buying a car, for example, makes you really happy, makes you intensely happy. But how many cars can you buy, right? There's so many cars you can buy. On the other hand, complimenting a stranger, having a conversation with a stranger, make your own coffee, doing your chores, the happiness you derive from that is much more sustainable, and it's better for you, right? Because you have a baseline, right? And that baseline is not really interrupted. It's not all over the place. And another thing about activities and experiences that make you intensely happy, you also now start comparing every experience to that. That's why when you watch YouTube and this food reviewer say, this is the best thing I've ever had in my life, I'm usually like, you'll be comparing everything to that. And if it's truly the best thing you've ever had in your life, will you ever have good things? Because will you ever enjoy the good things that you have after that if you're always comparing them to that, right? So yeah, frequency over intensity. And this goes to every aspect of your life. Starting that business that you always wanted to start. I'm doing YouTube, right? And I get into this rhythm and this habit of doing 5 videos in a day and not doing like 2 days I'm doing nothing. Doing 5 videos in the other day I'm doing nothing. So with this idea, you get to see frequency, right? You'd rather do 2 videos in a day than do 5 in one day and the next 3 days you're not doing anything. Frequency over intensity. And this also borrows from the idea of consistency, being consistent, right? So I wanted to share I think it's a really good idea for everyone out there. Frequency over intensity. Frequency over intensity. Try to live by it. Try to practice it everywhere in your life. Try to practice it a lot. Frequency over intensity, right? Yeah, that's all I wanted to share, man. I think that's a really good idea, and it also speaks about a lot. And I'll make a video. They also speak about how deriving happiness from your work is super important. And I'm going to do a video about that, because we are so much into the hustle culture that to us work is work. It's not supposed to be fun. You just go there, get your money, go home. Get happiness from somewhere else, not work. Work is for money. But if you spend a third of your day there and you're not happy, then that's for another video. Anyway, thank you for listening to it. I know it's a shorter video, but when the message is super clear cut, right? The message is consistency, frequency. Do make smaller strides, make smaller steps than making huge leaps. Make smaller strides than 3 or 4 huge leaps in few days, right? Yeah, consistency over intensity. And I hope you try practicing it, and I hope it helps you, because I believe this is a very important lesson. So I'll end it at that. And tell me, if you ever get to watch this, where do you think this idea can really help you in? For me, I just said in my YouTube, by making smaller steps than making huge leaps, right? So tell me where this can help you. I think it helps in very many ways, especially in the gym. When you go to the gym an hour every 4 days in a week, then go 2.5 hours every 2 days in a week. I think the 4 days is much more beneficial than the 2 days, right? Because you build muscle. Frequency builds muscles, right? Intensity doesn't really. You just go and sweat. Frequency, on the other hand, I mean, if you can merge the two, the better, right? Being intensely frequent. I mean, that's the dream, like, right? That's the goal. But also, is that really sustainable? Maybe you can do that every 1 month in the year, like you are intensely frequent. You go there and body build, and But anyway, that's it for today. Hope you got something from it, and I hope you try and apply it to your life. Thank you. Peace.